joining us. We had like a break in transmission, break in streaming. My apologies, Annette, for just that little um, just break interruption right there. But we're back. Our apologies again. We were getting into the juice of the story. Okay, that's the important thing, and I think if people are here, that's why we stay because we wanna know what happened. Like, it's not how it started, but look at how far you've come and how it has mushroomed. So
Right.
take it away, Annette, and tell us
Okay.
how our lives narrative came about finally.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lisa. So now I'm ready, right,
Hmm.
to jump in. Like I said, it wasn't too bad because I'd been doing all of the legwork, right? So I was producing the show already with my husband, but of course, being in front of the camera, it's 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 really interesting because I've always admired people do public speaking and all of that, and I feel like my nursing career, I do a lot of that as well. It may not be, to a larger audience, right?
Hmm.
But most of the work we do as registered nurses is, providing education, teaching, families and clients or patients.
Hmm.
So I was bringing that forward. I had kind of like the groundwork, and then also my church, I'm active as well. Yeah, and I've been in leadership position. But anyways, so I was ready. Of course, it's nerve-wracking, but I was ready for this opportunity. I see it now as an opportunity which I didn't see before, right? But I've always prayed, Lisa, this was on my prayer list, asking God, when people talk about purpose and all of that, of course, I'm a mom, I'm a nurse, but I was wondering, was there anything else out
Yeah.
there for me to give back? Knowing, especially know my husband got his own. But anyway, so that was an opportunity knocking up my door. And now I look back and I'm like, thank God that I took this opportunity because the moment I got in front of that camera, everything just changed. Like I said, the now we're looking at a broader immigrant demographics instead of just our own little Sierra Leone association, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the vision is even bigger now. We're even eventually going outside of Alberta, like we've done episodes in Calgary, and
Mm,
we are planning to, step outside. So it's been,
okay. I have
yeah.
a question for you. You said the minute you stepped in front of the camera, things changed. What
Right.
what what in you changed? I'm so curious about. Oh my God, let's go.
I I guess being the face, right? And I was doing promo, when with the our other host, but it didn't feel the same. Like it's like I had more control of how I can promote the show, videos, little video clips that I can do. Now it's my face. It's
Yes.
control
Uh-huh.
my husband's brand. So all these ideas started pouring out and we were ready to take off, you know and I would say there was no limitation. That's another thing too, because when you are depending on not just not anything bad, but they say a man's best servant, right, is him or
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah.
So me and my husband, we can get up one day when we went to Calgary. It was easy, right? It's like grab the kids, hop on to our vehicle, and we're out there,
Oh.
right? So it gives us a lot more room to work with, wherein we don't have that third party involved, basically. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh my goodness, like I've been in. This is just bringing back so many memories, and I think you and your husband are perhaps in for the most wonderful time.
well, thank
There's,
you.
there's something that is created. Okay, so we have married couples, right?
Right.
Get married, and sometimes like you're in totally different fields, but when you find a thing that the two of you can do together, it's
Mm,
it's really magical.
right.
And that's what I'm hearing you talking about. Not to rain on the parade at all, but it just reminds me of back home in St. Lucia, one of the
Oh,
programs that my husband and I did. It was called, was it was Sunrise.
okay.
Sunrise Yes, and it was because we were both morning people at the time. He's since no longer a morning person, like whatever. We very early in the morning, jumped in the vehicle,
Yeah.
and just go out on the beaches and just film the sunrises. And
Wow.
that was magical in all sorts of ways. Um,
Mm,
like it's lovely for couples to explore that working part of them, not just the, oh yes, I'm in love, but that love can produce way more fruit than kids.
you're absolutely right. Small fry like that. That's right. That's way
I
more. And
said,
it builds character. You
oh,
get to know each other more. Things
yes,
that, just like adapt more, grow
yeah.
more, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful process and give
So
grace more,
yeah, lots more grace. So
right?
I had to
Yeah.
ask, so what don't you like about working together?
Well, like it all goes back to being perfectionist. I like to have a balance, but that comes with a lot of strength, right? So yeah, but I've learned, and he's patient, quite patient, because sometimes because we're doing this, we have a full-time jobs.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity. I'll look through the photos, get rid of the blurry ones, just to make the work a little bit light on him, and put like I'm trying to learn to do things here and there. And
Mm-hmm.
my one of my goal is to learn more about media, how to even like start editing smaller videos. So that way I'm out there and I want to just like go live, or I just want to say something, I can do it on my own. And then he can focus on the more bigger picture, like the episodes. And we have a couple projects as
Mm-hmm.
well that we're working on. We
Okay.
just started a vlog
Yeah.
that would include our kids as well. So just sharing some of those family values.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say Lisa, my husband, is Muslim.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly,
Probably the name.
that. Are you Muslim as well,
I
Annette?
am not. I'm a strong Christian, growing Christian home. But I find the more I learn about my husband, the more I'm grateful, the more I get closer to God. Because I'm just like, wow, you gave me this individual that I I don't know, like how you
I,
know?
I'm gonna ask you the question on everybody's mind, right?
Sure.
The question on everybody's mind is: so who's converting who? Is there a version taking place? Like, how does it work? Tell us.
Everybody he thinks he's converting me. I think I'm converting him. Ah, but not just being with him, I've just learn to just respect other people's culture and religious background and values. Because, I don't know, I know you're a strong Christian as well, but I find where Christians are not always open to learn, at least that's my experience, other
It,
people's,
it,
religion. So I've learned a lot, right? Like we have a lot of things in common. And I didn't plan, I look at my life, the trajectory my life has gone over the years. I didn't plan any of this. I didn't plan to get married to a Muslim man. I
oh,
didn't plan to get into nursing. I was doing
yeah.
engineering. I didn't plan to be the face of the podcast, but I ended up. So I feel like just passively, God has just aligned one event after the other for his purpose, right? And I'm just grateful to be used as much as
That's
possible.
I think it's great to recognize just that quality about yourself, about like being open to new ideas, new ways of life.
Right.
I remember one of the early things I did when I came to Edmonton, and just being faced with different cultures and religions as well. There
Mm.
was a time, I think the Muslim Association, they used to put on something that they called a coffee chat, where you
Okay.
just able to walk into a mosque and have a chat with the elders there, and just get to know a little more about the religion. And I've
Yeah.
always open to that because
Wow. That's
in
nice.
like God is above all, He
Yeah.
and I
Absolutely.
like at the end of the day, A lot of things that we don't think are connected might actually be. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've been open to understanding where
Right.
are people coming from. And I think it makes for a very compelling TV story.
Yeah, I know.
Have,
That's
I
right.
have not explored that part of your lives. Like, okay, I'm Christian. He's a,
Right.
this is
Maybe you
how it
never know. That might be a project if my husband's open to it.
is. Yes,
Because there'll
that.
be some tears. I mean, overall, before we got married,
Mm-hmm,
these are conversations we had.
mm-hmm,
Um, you stay where you are. I'm not trying to convert you, but I would like my kids in a respectful way. I would like my kids to practice the religion. And
mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, it was easy because I could practice mine, right?
Yeah.
I was good. But when we started having kids,
Oh, wow.
I want it was hard, right? It was a hard thing for me not to take my like they do. He's open for me to teach them. He's
Mhm.
open for me to take them to church, but not on a day, like weekly Sunday basis,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So,
Right.
but hey, I have an opportunity to teach them. That's something, right? They're gonna, and I always tell my oldest, I'm like, you guys are so lucky because you get to know both worlds, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, God will direct you, whatever really, that's my philosophy, whatever religion that you guys will serve Him better,
Right.
that I'm open to it. But you
Yeah.
guys are learning about Islam and Christianity. How powerful is that? You
Yeah.
know?
Most
So
people of these religions, including me, most of us only learn about ours. How
that's
cool
right.
that they're actually learning and to grow
Hmm.
both and
Right.
getting to choose
Yeah.
for themselves. That's awesome. You
Thank
know,
you.
Anna, do you know we've only addressed like one
I
question?
know.
On- oh, this-
I was worried. Yeah, it will end up that way, but
no, but this is way more compelling. So let's actually go to one of the questions that was on the list about
yeah.
being an immigrant. And you've been here for a long time. And I was saying to you, I think I wrote it in the questions that only on the weekend I reached out to my podcast editor and I'm like, okay, like we need to kind of get it out on time. And he's like, I just landed in Canada and there's so much snow. I didn't even know this guy was coming to Canada. He lived in Nigeria, and that
Okay.
found him on Fiverr, and we've had a wonderful. He really produces a good job for me because I hate like editing video or audio or
Yeah.
anything. And lo and behold, he's found his way to Canada. He's
Wow.
life as a med tech. He's going to study for a while,
Oh, that's nice.
and it was just complicated for him with the snow and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, he's like, just complications. I'm not even sure. And he came without his family. So, all of
Oh,
these emotions and fears and everything.
yeah.
And I
Wow.
found myself encouraging him. And so it prompted this question of, as an immigrant, well, you've been here a long while, what kind of advice would you give to new immigrants?
Lisa, I would say right off, just having that goal, right, at heart. And for me, I feel like those first couple years are so important to set the stage for for your settlement. I would advise them to just come out of their bubble, reach out, volunteer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Learn the rules and regulations of the land, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Especially in our workforce, you need to understand what your rights are because passively people will take advantage of you because you're a new immigrant, right? So I would say pay attention to that and give all because even like if you're moving with your family, I mean, I moved at an early age, so maybe that is not my story, but what I've learned from other like adults, when you move here for the first couple of years, there's not a lot of expectations, I would say. So those couple years are the best time to, if you're planning to get back into your workforce, whatever career that you are, if you still have the desire to pursue taking those certification, anything that is required to get you back into
Mm-hmm.
that career. Living within your means, right? Because the moment you start acquiring this
Stuff.
and that, you're stuck, right? Because financially, most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Then you kind of lose focus because now you have a mortgage, you have a car loan, you have families back home, that you have to take care of. So those will be my advice. Just keep your eye on the goal those first couple of years. Um, Interact with other people that have
Yeah.
been in the country for a while, because you could learn a thing or two from them, how they have navigated settling into the society. And
Mhm.
volunteering is great. You meet different people. It's good for your resume because where are you going to get the Canadian experience, right? But those
Exactly.
are avenues that you could tap into to
Yeah.
get settled down. Yeah.
And like volunteering is also a very Canadian value, I find.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it it's a way to isn't you don't just get ahead, but you come across like you meet people across the board when you volunteer. You really
Right.
get community at that level.
Right.
I That's a good thing. Yeah.
And you begin to know you're coming from a different country, values, the way we do things are slightly different, but then you can begin to sense, oh, maybe I didn't do things like this before, but maybe I can do that. It just open up an avenue for you to search deep and see what values that you didn't even know, qualities that you had and you didn't even know, right?
Mhm.
When you do all of these voluntary work and connecting with other people. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, if I may, we add
Mhm.
to that, never losing sight of who you are. Never letting
Mm,
face change you, and let
right,
expectations of people who don't know you rest on you so much that they can't come off when it's time.
right.
I
That
feel
is
like we all
true.
have to pay our dues as immigrants, but
Hmm.
remember where you came from. Remember,
Right,
like, I for me, I say, remember the greatness you came from, that you can replicate it here. Like, why can't
right,
you replicate it in its own way? So that for me is quite kind of big.
right.
Um, so I have one last question for you. Like, we could go on and on because
Yeah,
it's
I
so
know.
interesting. Hey, like, what? Your story is so interesting,
Thank
so
you.
compelling. And there's a question that I always ask everybody, which is, what are you passionate about in the world?
Well, a lot of things. Community,
Okay.
my church family, my
Husband,
kid.
you
My
passionate.
husband. I don't want to go there. You can always already sense I can't stop talking about him.
Good.
Yeah, so learn, like, I have this thirst to learn more and more. Um, I don't have a lot of time, which we all don't, but life is all about growth, right? Even in my profession,
Mm-hmm.
medicine is evolving. So just the thirst to know more, like you have to know more so you can take care of your clients better. And now I'm in even a different world of media and podcasting. Wow, a new world just opened up to me to just like learn the
Mm-hmm.
arts, how I can make my, guests more comfortable, how we can bring the best out of the whole production, how I
Mm-hmm.
can be of more help, in terms of the editing and all of that. So I found a new passion and I'm enjoying it, and I've grown so much, and I'm so blessed to meet all of these guests. And Lisa, I can't wait to sit down with you.
Oh God, why we gotta chop it up, eh?
I
That
know
having
it.
us next on her
It
video podcast. I think in a couple of weeks. Is it next week or
Yeah, yeah,
what?
yeah. God
So
willing. So
I'm
there's
kind
a whole world. Like
of
I'm learning because having people from different walks of life. I'm doing my research, and it's a blessing. And I think we were just talking about me losing
yes,
10 pounds, like the last
in
episode.
that thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I just
yeah,
got inspired, and I just wanted to lose a little pounds and kind of
yeah,
take control of my health a little bit.
I
Yeah,
know.
so just lots of water. I like food. I'm sure everybody does, but just being disciplined and just trying to get to that goal.
Uh-huh.
Lisa. So yeah,
So was
that's
it hard losing? Was it hard losing those 10 pounds with
for
intermittent fasting?
me. For me, if I avoid rice, bread, I can easily shed, you know,
Oh,
yeah, those pounds.
that's
And
all.
just like drinking law, just being more conscious of what to eat. And you eat once. Okay, I cheated sometimes, of course. But like I basically eat one big meal a day
Mm-hmm.
and I drink my tea. I love my tea. I drink my tea all day. So I will cheat with honey and milk and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was mostly drinking lots of water and having that one nutritious meal for the day. And for me, it worked. I'm sure it will be different story for somebody else, right? Because a
Okay.
lot of factors are involved. So
You.
yeah.
So I'm publicly inviting you back. Um,
Okay.
Bob,
Okay.
I did not do you justice. I apologize.
That's
And
okay.
I feel like we need to come back and
See?
when or might talk about yes, borderless world and virtual. Okay, it's better if you are just well set up, have your have everything as it's supposed to be, right? And
Yeah.
when we sit down, we'll perhaps arrange in not too distant future to
Okay.
come back and let's address the other parts of the interview.
Right.
That this was very compelling. I
Thank
thank
you, Lisa.
you
Thank
just
you.
for just bearing with me with all of these technical difficulties today. But thank you, Annette. You're
Yeah.
just you're so interesting. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. And thank you. I love your work. I enjoy all that you're doing. And
You.
hopefully someday I can get some coaching from Lisa Dablin.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I admire what you do. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's an honor. Really, really appreciate this opportunity for
Absolutely.
sure.
Keep on doing
Yeah.
what you're doing. I think it
Thank
needs
you.
we do it, and perhaps at some point we'll talk about it. But there are a lot of us doing podcasting. You realize that
Mhm.
there are a
Mhm.
lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of
Yeah.
us, and it's about perhaps time to kind of come together as a Black coalition or Edmontonian coalition.
Mm, that's
Which
a great idea.
yeah,
I
something
love
about
that.
what's happening in Edmonton for podcasting, and
Yeah.
it's very exciting. Yeah. So
Okay.
what
Alright.
doing?
I'm all on board for
Yeah.
anything.
Thank you for being here today, and
Thanks
we
for
shall
having me.
talk again.
All
Bye.
right. Take care.
Again, thank
Bye.
you.
Bye
Thank you,
everyone. Thanks
everybody.
for
See you
joining us.
next week. Bye.